Yes, good evening, everyone in Radio Land and on Facebook. Welcome to another edition of My Career, My Calling. I am your host, Stephanie Fletcher Lottie, and it is really, really good to be back with you in the studio. After a little break. Thank you so much for staying tuned. I had to attend to some family matters, and I just want to say a big thank you to Julia Mapenzi, Jesse Maps for sitting in and just holding the fort for me while I've been away. Thank you so much. And thanks to everyone who's just continued to stay tuned and to ensure that the program stayed on the air. You have all been champion today. It's going to be a really, really special one. We've got a special guest who's going to be talking about navigating career crossroads. I'm really, really looking forward to speaking with our special guest this evening, Jane Jackson from Jane Jackson Coaching, and I know it's going to be an exciting one. So, we've been talking about getting ready for work. We've had a few really amazing guests. We had, the president of the African Australian Association talking about, the different things you can do just to get connected and really plugging into the networks. And last week we also had Tony Ann Faulkner speaking with us about, her journey down under and finding jobs and how we can really use social media to assist us in that venture. So this is Down on the Radio, and we are very excited this evening to have a very special guest with us joining us for our program this evening. And we're really, really excited to have joining us for this evening's program Ms. Jane Jackson from Jane Jackson's Career Coaching. Jane, thank you for joining us this evening.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to be here, Stephanie. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes, thank you so much. We've really been having some really great times on this program over the last 2 months. We've been able to share some amazing stories. We've been able to share information about how people can transition into the workplace, particularly for migrants who have so many different barriers and have struggled to integrate into the Australian workplace. And so we are very excited to have you joining us this evening. And yes, Jane, why don't you give us a brief introduction about yourself and a little bit about your background before we get into the meat of the matter today?
Okay, Stephanie. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on the show, because it really is an honor to be on My Career, My Calling, and I'm delighted to have a chat with you today. So, originally, I'm from Hong Kong. I'm half Chinese and half English. I've got a Chinese mum and English dad, and I grew up in Hong Kong. Then I completed my university education in Minnesota in the States before returning to Hong Kong to begin my career. And I've had multiple career transitions and personal transitions over the years. I've lived in Hong Kong, San Francisco, London, Singapore, and now transitioned to Sydney. And for the past 19 years, I've been providing career support as a career management coach. And I'm author of Navigating Career Crossroads, which is an A to Z of career transition. And I also host a podcast called Your Career Podcast on Spotify and iTunes, where I provide career guidance and advice and interviews too to fascinating professionals who've made amazing career changes.
Wow. What an absolutely beautiful snapshot of your journey. And
it's been a big one.
It's been an amazing one, and I'm really happy to hear about that too, particularly because you yourself, you are a migrant, and you can understand some of the issues and the challenges that surrounds, other people who might, be coming from somewhere else and moving to another place and trying to integrate and adjust to the new systems and the policies and so on and so forth. So I believe that's really, really great that we have someone who can understand where, other migrants are coming from.
It really is quite daunting when you come to a new country. And even though I came from English-speaking countries to Australia, I thought, oh, it's going to be so easy to integrate. But there are little nuances and differences in Australia that I had to get used to as well. And settling in was a little bit challenging, but you've got to develop the resilience to be able to get back up when there are knockbacks and get used to a new culture and new people and making friends, and sometimes you feel lonely. So, yes, going through country change and trying to integrate can be challenging, but it can be done, and I've done it many times.
Awesome. And that's, I believe, the essential thing that I really want people to understand, that others have done it. And it means that if we have done it, they can also do it. And I believe that's really a great note to start on today. So, career coaching, how did you come about to start doing that?
Oh, well, it's funny, really. When I was a teenager, I didn't even know there was such a career as career coaching.
Yes.
We had a career counselor at school who didn't really do very much, just told us to go, for interviews and took us to hotels and banks and things to look at places. But I didn't realize career coaching could actually be a profession. But having made a number of career transitions myself, I started my own coaching practice in 2000. And I've had a wonderful career in public relations in Hong Kong and London. And then when I moved to Singapore, I transitioned into health and fitness, which is something that I really enjoy. And so I was able to turn a passion into a career as well. And I spent 18 years in Singapore training in health and fitness. And I made a career change after winning the Nike National Aerobics Championship because I was very fit in those days. And I ended up being sponsored by Nike to promote total body conditioning around Singapore as a personal trainer and fitness coach. But then I missed the corporate life after quite a number of years. And I went back into corporate training because I did a lot of that when I was working in PR. And after a few years, I was seeking, when there's something missing in my life, it's like, oh, the work's okay, but there must be something more. I was seeking a bit more meaning in my career. And there was an opening as a career transition coach that was offered to me, and I went for the interview. I didn't really know what it was all about, but they wanted to meet with me because I did corporate training. There's a lot of training in my type of work now. And so after a number of years coaching for a global outplacement company, because I got the job, I loved it so much because it felt like this is what I was born to do. And I love helping people so much that I set up my own private coaching practice, which is called Jane Jackson Coach, and it's also known as Jane Jackson Careers. So that's how it started, and this is what I've been doing ever since I arrived in Sydney as well.
Wow, that is such a beautiful story. And, it speaks about, being passionate about something, being able to identify that you're really good at something, and also taking a bold step to get out of your comfort zone and to do something that you were passionate about.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things to always think about, I think, is to see if it feels right for you. And if it feels right, even if it scares you, to give it a go. Because you could be very successful. I mean, you might not as well, but it's a good learning experience, and isn't it? And I always like to take an attitude of, if there's an opportunity there, let me see how it goes. I need to do the research. I need to work really hard. But if I'm going to try something, I want to make it a success. And I actually don't mind working really hard, long hours, and especially with my own business, I could be working till midnight, but I love it so much I don't mind. And when I'm coaching, because I coach people around the world, and I use Zoom video conferencing to coach them, that sometimes there's such a big time zone difference that I'm teaching late at night, coaching late at night, but it feels good. It feels right because I am helping them to progress in their careers. So it's a good feeling.
Amazing. That's really important, to just being able to be committed and being able to go that extra mile, even though it might be a little bit uncomfortable. But I believe what I'm getting from this is that, once you've found something, it's important to give it a try, even if you fail, but at least you would have learned some valuable lessons from that experience.
There's no such thing as failure. All we get is feedback on how we can do it better next time. And so, I never think, oh, I failed. I just think, oh, it didn't quite work out that time. What am I going to do next time to make it work? So it really is a lot in the attitude. And that's actually something that I talk about a lot with my clients.
Yes.
Because they always say, oh, I didn't get the job. And I'm thinking, well, actually, the fact that you even had an interview is a success, because
Yes.
it means that your resume worked. What you did over the phone when they called you worked. They called you in to meet you face to face. You just had a stumbling block in the face to face. So what happened there? Let's fix that bit.
That's
But if you're not getting a call back, that means let's fix the resume. If after you speak with them on the phone, you're not getting called in for a face-to-face, let's figure out, what are you saying over the phone? How are you coming across? So there's always something to learn. And if you come to a stumbling block, that's okay, because it's your opportunity to do better next time.
That's it. That's it. That's it. Who are the kinds of people that should be looking to get a career coach?
Well, if you're feeling a bit stuck in your career,
Yes.
and you'd like to get a bit of clarity, then that might be a good sign that you might need a career coach. But the people that I tend to work with the most are the people who've gone through a redundancy. Perhaps they need a new role. They're in between jobs. It could be graduates seeking their first job. I also work a lot with mid-career changes. People looking for a job for the first time, or they think, I don't know why I'm in this role. I'm in my mid-30s or mid-40s and I need a change. And those are the types of people that I tend to work with. They're usually around about 35 to 60 years old, and can be anywhere in the world. As I say, I work via video, and I work either one-on-one or in career workshops as well.
Awesome. So you've published a book called Navigating Career Crossroads. Tell us a little bit more about the book and what motivated you to write that book.
Okay. Well, I like to think of Navigating Career Crossroads. I'm so proud of it. It's like a tick off my bucket list, because I always wanted to write a book that would be of benefit, and it's a bit like leaving a legacy, isn't it? And it helps people. So this book it's the A to Z of career transition. It starts with helping you to rebuild your self-confidence, or to build your self-confidence if you're feeling a bit fearful about making a change. And then it helps you to gain clarity through a series of assessments, because there are exercises in the book as well, a series of assessments so that you can understand your career values, your skills and knowledge, what motivates you, what demotivates you, what your tangible accomplishments are, what your career anchor is, everything that really draws you. And then once you've got all of that, I take you through how to create your resume, how to create your LinkedIn profile, how to work with recruiters, how to prepare for interviews, how to negotiate, how to onboard successfully into your new role. So basically, I take you from feeling confused, a bit afraid, and maybe a bit daunted about the whole process, to confident, clear, and excited about the next step in your career. And I'm really excited because it reached #1 on Amazon Careers, and I published it in 2015, and it's still selling. So I'm very happy about that.
Navigating Career Crossroads by Jane Jackson is available on Amazon Books. So amazing. And a lot of people sometimes don't realize, that these kinds of resources are available. And I was really excited when I found you, or more like you found me.
I did.
Yes, I was really excited when I saw that, and I was very, very happy to see that you had a book that you'd written, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of your own experiences have informed this book.
Yes, well, I share a lot of my own story in the book, but I interview many of my past clients as well who've gone through career change. And in fact, one of the gentlemen, Brian, who I interviewed for my book because he went through a major career change as well, he said that when he went through redundancy, it really knocked his self-confidence, and he was in a very senior role within a bank. And he said he felt he was like it was wandering around in the mist a little bit. He went from being an employed person to an unemployed person, and it really knocked the wind out of his sails. And so we talked about the process of rebuilding confidence so that you can market yourself effectively.
Yes. So I think that for a lot of people, that transition from one career to the other is quite a huge undertaking. And we've spoken about some of this in some of our previous shows, particularly for some of our migrants, because one of the things that we've discussed is the fact that some people have moved from different countries to, say, like Australia, and their qualifications don't matriculate, readily with the Australian system. And so quite a lot of people have had to work in a different field, even though some of them have got a quite high level qualifications. We're talking about doctors, senior medical officers in overseas countries who've had to retrain as nurses or as some kind of medical technologist or technician or in other allied health fields, and not just in the medical field, but in several different areas. A lot of them have had to, choose different areas to work in. And so that transition has been quite a reality among a lot of our migrant communities. And, we've heard the stories. And so in terms of, these transitions, when people are transitioning, what are, if you might give us maybe 2 or 3 tips, if you may, and I'm sure people can get more details from your book, but if you were going to, in a nutshell, provide some advice to people, what would that be?
Okay, so first of all, don't get despondent when you come across roadblocks along the way, because when you're moving from one country to another, even if you've been very successful where you were before, coming over to Australia, your certifications and qualifications, they might need you to retrain in order to get an Australian qualification. And I know that's a bit of a bite and time consuming and costly probably, but it would be important for certain fields, especially certain professions, that you do get the local qualifications. So be open to that as well. But when it comes to making a career transition, some of the things to think about initially are that either you can be transitioning to simply looking for a similar job within a similar industry or a same job within the same industry that you had before, or you might be looking at a complete career change. So before you do that, though, you must think about what you really want to do, and you need to gain clarity about yourself. And then once you know who you are, what you've got to offer, what you want, you need to conduct research and understand the workplace culture and diversity within companies that you might wish to target, and understand the difference in the industries here in Australia. And in fact, from state to state, it's a little bit different as well, than, from country to country. So knowledge is power. And it's really important to take time to learn and to dig deep so that you understand the industry, and also talk to people within certain companies you want to target so you can understand that culture, and read all you can about changes in industries. You can go to, say, if you go to the state library, you can join for free, and you get access to their databases. And you only need is your driving license or ID, and you can join the state library or your local library and find out what sort of research databases they have access to. You can access once you get the login. And if you get access to ISIS industry reports or Nexus or H&B Research, you can start to research the industry see what the changes have been most recently as well. That way, that knowledge you can use in interviews because you'll be talking the talk. You know what the latest challenges might be, and you also need to know what skills specifically are required in the field you want to target, and what are the certifications or license certifications or licenses that you may need. And once you know got all of that knowledge and you've got clarity about who you are, what you've got to offer, and what transferable skills you have, that's really the key. Stephanie, it's the transferable skills. Then armed with a positive attitude, you can create your powerful marketing materials, which will be your resume, your cover letters, your emails, your cover emails, your profile, LinkedIn profile summary, and learning how to work with recruiters, because some of them can be a little bit challenging to work with. They never seem to return phone calls. Most of my clients complain about that. It's so annoying. I'm a former recruiter, but I used to return phone calls all the time. But I found that recruitment really is sales. It's not so much helping people, and that's why I'm coaching. But you need to learn how to use the online job boards, and these days, how to get past the applicant tracking system, because resumes are scanned before a human being sees them. So once you know all of that, you'll have more success.
Yes. I just want to, if I may, pick up on a few things. So one is having a LinkedIn profile and so on. You know, for a lot of people, a lot of the social media stuff is quite new, especially if you're coming from a place where you haven't had access or it hasn't been promoted, it hasn't been as visible, you know.
Yeah.
And now I think we're starting to realize the value of having a LinkedIn profile. So if you could just maybe flesh out that a little bit more, why is it important for a professional to have a LinkedIn profile?
Okay. Digital. Everything is going digital these days. And I do have some clients who don't like social media. Oh, no, I don't like Facebook. And I'm going, okay, that's fine. You don't need to be on Facebook if you don't want to. But for looking for a job, because LinkedIn is one of the first places that recruiters or hiring managers go to source the candidates, if you're not on LinkedIn with a good profile, you might be missing out on potential opportunities. So even if you don't like being online, I would suggest while you're looking for a job, just bite the bullet and create a good LinkedIn profile. There are 640 million members on LinkedIn. And in Australia alone, it's just under 10 million members. So
Wow.
that's a lot of people to target. And you can expand your network on LinkedIn by reaching out to people in the industries in the city where you want to work. And if you do it right, and I coach people on how to use LinkedIn as well, because sometimes people are a little bit shy about using. And so you can to people, develop a good working relationship with them, and then hopefully they'll be able to give you some advice and guidance and potentially referrals. But as a recruiter, if they're sourcing the candidates, they're going to type in, say if they're looking for a medical researcher or they're looking for a marketing assistant or whatever the job might be, they're going to type in certain keywords into LinkedIn and
Mhm.
it'll pull out all of these profiles. But if you're not on it, you won't get found. Not just a resume database. You can upload your resume onto LinkedIn, but that's a little bit of a boring way to do it. It's much better to create your profile, write your summary in first person, so you're telling a story, so people can get to know your personality and your key strengths. And then, in the professional experience section, you can have similar experience to what you've got in your resume as well, but write it in a conversational way, and people can really get to know you. Say if you look for me, Stephanie, and I looked for you today, so I've been stalking you already. But it's interesting to find out about each other, because you can say, hey, we've got all this in common. Would you like to connect?
Yes.
And that way, when you reach out to people, you make a new friend. If nothing else, you make a friend.
That's so important. And yes, it is quite an eye opener Our guest last week also spoke about investing in some of what you are speaking about, and having the her CV done, and opening a LinkedIn account and investing some money in order to be able to get herself out there, and blending in and making sure that she was you know relevant and actually could be found by these recruiters.
Mm.
Yes.
But you don't have to pay money on LinkedIn. You can use the free profile, and it can be very effective for you without paying extra on LinkedIn, because you will still be able to search for potential target audience,
Yes.
and you can build a very powerful profile with the right keywords yourself so that you can be found. I would suggest to have a look on other people's profiles. I mean, in my profile, I throw the entire kitchen sink in there. I've got everything about me. If you look at my profile, you'll know what I'm like personally and professionally. And I mean, a lot of videos and audio and all sorts of things. But it's deliberately done that way because if you're looking for a coach, you want to like the person that you work with.
That's
And
it.
so my profile will repel people who don't like my style, and
Yes.
it will attract people who think, oh, she's quite nice. She's mostly harmless, but very helpful. I might have a chat with her. so, so because I'm just a warm and fuzzy coach, I like to help people who are feeling a little bit daunted and need to build their self confidence.
Wow, wow, wow. This is amazing. This is really amazing. We're learning so much from you today, Jane, and I do hope our listeners online are paying attention and taking note. It's really really a great information we're getting from you here this
Mm.
evening, and
Well,
I
yeah,
know we
just,
run.
just
Sorry, go ahead.
sorry to interrupt. No, I was just going to say, because looking on you've got such a fantastic profile, Stephanie, and
Yes.
done so much, and you've made those transitions that just looking, I was thinking, oh my goodness, you've got such great qualifications, you've got international experience. I want to talk to this woman. So your profile on LinkedIn has attracted attention. And so, if anyone, is listening and hasn't looked at your profile, they should look because, that's such a great example.
Oh, thank you so much for that. And I've actually been contacted by quite a few recruit. The first time I got contacted by a recruiter, I was actually shocked.
Mm.
And I have been approached by quite a few people on LinkedIn. I actually got one of my jobs through a direct approach via LinkedIn, you know.
And
So
so it works.
it
It
worked.
works.
It did work. And I've actually found jobs through LinkedIn as well.
Mm.
Last year I had a lovely opportunity to work as a consultant as an advisor for the government overseas. And I got that job through a LinkedIn advertisement. And I know they checked me out on LinkedIn as well.
That's right. So for anyone who's reluctant about LinkedIn and is looking for a job, even if you only use it during your job search, use it one. And if you feel that you want to have it live after you've got the job, you can actually your privacy settings so that it's visible. So it really, this is for the reluctant ones, because I reckon even when you've got the job, you should still be building your brand.
Yes.
Personal branding is very important if you want to get a promotion or a salary raise or to manage your career moving forward.
Yes. So Jane, tell me. So if people, I know you've got the book, and I know you do personal coaching, but I think I read somewhere that you also have an online course that you run.
Oh, I've got quite a few. I have something called the Careers Academy, which is an online membership site
Mm.
where you get ongoing career support guidance if you're a member. But there's free stuff in there, and I've got actually at the moment I've got 4 online courses, and I'm in the process of creating my 5th one. But I've got how to write a resume. I've got how to build your self-confidence. I have LinkedIn for career success. I have personal branding for career success, and I'm creating how to ace your job interview online course as well. But in that membership site, once a month I do a group coaching call, and I also have a monthly live webinar on a career management topic. So the Careers Academy Online, it's a really useful membership site. There's something that maybe your listeners would be interested in because it's free. I have a free masterclass that they can attend. It's called The 3 Secrets to Personal Branding for Career Success. It's about a 40-minute masterclass, and I share 3 really good tips on what you must do to start building your brand in person and online.
I'm very excited to hear about that. So there's a free masterclass that is run by Jane. Is this part of the Career Academy?
No, it's separate. It's
Separate.
completely free, so you don't need to sign up for anything.
Okay.
You just can take it.
Oh,
So
great.
would you like the URL? I'll just give it to you. And
Please do. Let's share the URL. So listeners, Jane has a free masterclass and you are able to access this. And she's going to tell us the URL for that now.
Okay, so it's www.janejacksoncoach.com/3 secrets with an S at the end. So it's janejacksoncoach.com/3 secrets.
/3 secrets.
Yeah, and it's 3, the number 3, not writing it all out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's www.janejacsonccoach.com//3 secret. So you can access
secrets with an S at the end.
Secrets with an S, yes. Mm-hmm. So that's a free masterclass available. I'll put this on our Facebook page and I'll make sure that everyone is able to see this information, share it to those who need this information. And I'll definitely make sure we get this out there on our Facebook page and we'll share this information around. I personally will check that out.
Well, in fact, if you just go to janejacksoncoach.com, I have so much free stuff. Of course, there's paid stuff as well because I got to make a living after all. But I have a lot of free stuff because some people might not have a lot of money, and I want to help. I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission, Stephanie.
Yes.
That's why I wrote my book, to make careers guidance accessible and affordable to the world for anyone who needs it. So my podcast, Your Career Podcast, is free. It's on Spotify. It's on iTunes. You can just look for it. It's called Your Career. And my book, you can get it as a Kindle for under $10, Kindle version for under $10, Navigating Career Crossroads. And I have also a How to Get a Job podcast course that you can access via my website at janejacksoncoach.com too. So I hope all of this helps people. And even if it just gives them a little boost of self-confidence and a bit of clarity, that would be great.
Wow. Look, I think we couldn't ask for more. This is so amazing. I know we're running out of time, but I wonder if I can just ask you maybe just 2 more questions before you go.
Sure.
Yes. So thank you so much for agreeing to speak with our audience at our upcoming Job Readiness Seminar and the Career Expo. That's coming up on the 6th of August right here at our offices in Liverpool. I'm really excited about that, and I'm really super excited that we're having you here to speak.
I'm excited too.
To speak to our audience. So tell us, what can the audience expect from you that day?
Well, I believe I've got a 20-minute slot to talk about something relevant for careers. So
yes.
What I'm planning on speaking on is how to leverage LinkedIn for your job search.
Great.
So that people will understand how to use it. And honestly, I could talk about LinkedIn all day. So in 20 minutes, I'm going to condense a lot of really good information because you need to get social, you need to get digital, you need to get noticed if you want to get the job of your dreams.
Amazing. And we might be we've for the seminar coming up, we've planned a few breakout sessions. If we get enough people, we might just get Jane to run a little class with some people on that day.
Yeah, I could talk about how to make sure that your resume is as powerful as possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you are registering for the Career Expo and the Job Readiness Seminar. It's free of cost. It's sponsored by iCare and the Department of Human Services. Please make sure that you are registering for that and sharing it with people who need it. And Jane, just before you go, is there any other event that you have coming up that, you know, people might be able to catch you at or to hear you?
Yeah, well, actually, what will be fun is I co-host every quarter a networking event. And you can book it via Eventbrite. And on the 14th of August, at the Executive Centre in Barangaroo, it's LinkedIn Local Sydney. It's networking, and it's really, if you're a shy person and you don't like networking and you're looking for a job and you want to ease into it with some nice people, come along to LinkedIn Local Sydney, because I'll be there speaking. My co-host, Julian Bullock, will also be speaking, and our theme is new beginnings.
Wow.
So new job, new beginnings, new businesses, whatever it might be. It's 2 hours, starts at 5:30, carries on till 7:30. First drink is free, and we have canapes, and we'll be talking and giving LinkedIn tips as well. So it's a very friendly way to ease yourself into some networking and meet some new people.
Wow, that's so amazing. So much. I'm gonna probably have to do a little note at the end just to let people know all the great things that they can access and to get some of this information. We'll do a Facebook post and put an update there so people can connect with Jane. And just before you go, Jane, can you just tell people where they can find your book again and some of the resources?
Okay, so if you go to janejacksoncoach.com, you'll find just about everything there, because my book is there as well. So you go to janejacksoncoach.com/book. If you want to listen to my podcast, you can go to janejacksoncoach.com/podcast, or you can find my podcast. It's called Your Career, and then type in Jane Jackson. You'll find it on iTunes or on Spotify. And go over to thecareersacademy.online and have a look at what I've got for you there as well.
It's been such an amazing time. You know, time flies so fast when you're having fun. And
so nice talking to you, Stephanie.
And I've totally enjoyed having you online. I know Jane has another engagement, and so I'm gonna let her go. Thank you so much for really sharing so much about your own journey and the wealth of resources that you've got available to help us to really navigate, you know, the career crossroads, how to take advantage of social media and so on and so forth. And I'm sure we'll be hearing more from you.
And I have to say, it's been an honor. Thank you so much for asking me. And it's such a pleasure talking to you as well. It's been lots of fun. And if it's been of benefit to your listeners, then I'll be delighted.
Thank you so much, Jane. And I look forward to catching up with you off the air and to check out some of your resources as well. And I'll be making sure that we pass on this information so that the people who really need it can have access to it. Thank you so much, Jane, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. Good night, Stephanie.
Good night. Bye-bye. Oh, this has been an amazing time in the studio this evening with our guest, Jane Jackson from Jane Jackson Coaching. And boy, she has really, really shared so much, such amazing information about her work as a career coach, but also very, very relevant to the theme of this program, which is really about how migrants can integrate into the Australian workplace. Jane herself is a migrant, and she has really conquered many frontiers, if I may say so myself, And she has packaged all this experience into different resources that people can easily access online. She's got courses, podcasts, she's got the book Navigating Career Crossroads, and so much to offer. You can check out Jane's website at www.janejacksoncoach.com, and you can see all the different resources that are available. And Jane will be one of our guest speakers at our upcoming career at our upcoming job readiness seminar and our career expo, which we are holding right here at iCare Community Services offices in Liverpool on the 6th of August. And we've got Jane and a few other exciting presenters. You heard last week from Ken Muffimburo. He's going to be our main guest speaker. We also have Jose Ivora, who spoke with us a few weeks ago from Darwin College. He will be speaking as well. So we've got quite a diverse range of speakers. We'll be touching on different aspects of career transitioning. We're talking about social media. We'll be hearing about things about how people can integrate into the Australian workplace. We've got people from the employment agencies will be speaking as well, how people can access and use employment services. We're talking about disability services as well, workplace support for people with disabilities. We've got a large range, and just yesterday we have confirmation from the mayor of Liverpool City Council. Will be joining us. So you have a great program lined up. It's always good to step out with that confidence, and sometimes the mistakes that we make along the way become very valuable lessons that we can use for tomorrow or to help someone else. So let's take that bold step. And remember, Jane Jackson Coaching is available. There's a free masterclass available, and you can find that by going to janejackson.com, janejacksoncoach.com, and use /3 secrets, and you will find that free masterclass. There are several other, online courses, and you can just look on the website to see what's available. So you don't want to miss out. Please stay tuned, and remember, share this video post, share this with your family and friends. I encourage you, think about at least 5 people that you know that could use this information, and just share it to them on your social media profile. This is to help them to get the right information. Remember, this broadcast is facilitated by iCare Community Services, and we are proud to be able to contribute this to our community. We're giving back to our community. We want to make our community stronger. Our aim is to empower the community to be the best that they can be by providing this information to help people. Particularly, we are focusing on our migrant community and to help them to integrate into the Australian workplace and to ensure that we have a well integrated and a diverse workplace in Australia. Because when we integrate, it means that our communities are stronger and that we can succeed and we can work together. And that is really the bottom line of what we are doing here at My Career, My Calling, through the sponsorship and the great support of iCare Community Services. Just want to give a big shout out to all the staff, the leadership and staff at iCare Community Services. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for working behind the scenes. We just want to say a big thank you to our production team for ensuring that these live broadcasts are aired each week. So we out of time.